Rusty the Grower again here in Corrales Classic Farms in Corrales, New Mexico. I was just going to show you guys some, we call them like scallion onions. Actually, they're a lot of these onions all grow to be good sized bulb onions. Some of them up to 3/4 of a pound, a half a pound. But in the process of them growing, a few of them, they're always too close together. So at different points of the market season, we go through and just kind of separate them a little bit and thin them out. And hopefully, if you've irrigated, they're easy to pull out. You can pull them out by hand. Lots of times you got to use a tool to dig them out, which kind of slows down the whole process. But these onions here, we've got Texas Legends. It's a white onion. And we have, on this side, we have Redwings, which is a heck of a darn good red onion. We've grown it for a few years now. Very good storage onion. We've stored them. We've still got some. It's already close to June, and we still have some from last year in storage. Of course, you got to check them, make sure that they're not spoiled or anything, and keep moving them around and keep them cool. So in the process of thinning these out, these Texas Legends are probably in like a scallion state, which is pretty much a big thick green onion. Is what they call a scallion. They are starting to bulb. You can kind of see a little bit, but yeah, we'll just grab a couple here and see if we can. Some of them that are too close together, you can kind of see right there how they're starting to bulb. They're still easy to bunch if you're doing it commercially. They're very easy to pick a bunch of these and band them together, and they look kind of good. They kind of look like the ones at the store. But there's a couple right there, and as you can see, you got to get them. Yeah, you know, just like I was saying, you got to make a little circle and figure out how big they're going to get, and try to keep them apart like that. And there you go. You can kind of see. Kind of let them dry for a little bit in a nice cool spot, and that skin will pull off on them. And you'll have a nice clean looking onion for the market. People love that. There's a lot of our vendors that will just take the onions just like that without cleaning them up. It's a whole process, cleaning them up, making sure there's no mud splattered on the leaves. But you know, as you can see with a little work, they kind of turn out to be a pretty good looking product there. But like I said, it's just part of being a commercial vendor. You can put a bunch of dang dirty onions on the table and people won't even look at them, but once you clean them up and bundle them up, they'll get people. They attract people. People are always asking what they are. I usually tell them these are the vanilla onions right here. And so then if we go over here, a few of these red ones, let's see if we can find a few that need to be thinned out. I see a couple right there. I hate to pull too many out at one time, because sometimes you can kind of see these are those Redwings. It's a good onion. It stays like in this state for a long time, which is a good marketable onion. And that one ain't gonna come on. I hate to force it, but there's one. There, that'll come out. But as you can see, the Redwings, people like these as a green onion or a scallion, as I was saying. Usually just peel them real quick. Usually it's a big process when you got 20-30 pounds of these things. It takes 2 or 3 people about 3 hours to get with them and clean them, weigh them, and get them ready for market. So it's not that easy. It's a lot of darn work. And as you can see, just doing it out here in the field, yeah, you can do a few of them quick, but like I said, we usually do, you know, a good 10 pounds of these at a time. These are the cherry onions here. These are the vanillas. And actually, there's a lot of people that do really love these onions. They should be ready to harvest as big onions probably by the end of August. They'll be plenty big, and like I said, we'll keep going through and thinning them out so they each have space, and they can grow to their potential commercial size like everybody wants, a big onion. These are probably to the point is where I should be putting some. We use some Atlantic sea kelp on them, and also some fish, organic fish fertilizer, and that's what keeps them. That's what they start to bulb. We'll start to put that on there maybe a couple times in a couple of months. So that's about it on these onions here. Okay. There goes an air tanker to a fire. That is a DC-8 or an L-1011. It's a big airplane to be fighting fire. They've been flying by all day. There's a fire north of us somewhere. Signing off. Thank you. Yes, this is Rusty the grower again. It's time to transplant more onions. Seems like we just got done with them a couple of weeks ago, but here we go again. What we're doing here is we have some onion starts that we started back a few months ago, late February. I guess these were planted. These are Colorado number 6 yellow onions, a very acclimatized onion for our area. So what I'm doing now is I'm breaking up the little clods of the clumps of onions, trying to break them down enough, get all the dirt off. And we take all the seedlings. It's pretty time consuming, but something that's got to be done if you want onions late in the season. These should be like regular onions by the time October rolls around, or November. But as you can see, the soil's nice and dry, so it just breaks off and cleans up pretty quick. Is what you need. And you kind of pull the weeds out. And then what we do is we take a handful of them and we go to where we're going to transplant, the bed that we're transplanting in. It's nice to have a bed that's real loose and very soft, and that you can stick your finger in, and you can just push these in. Let's get over here and we'll look at it. So this bed here has been rototilled. We had some fertilizer put into it while before we fertilized it. Some pretty well composted chicken manures went in here, and we've had some other things growing here this spring, and we've already pulled them out, and we're replacing them with some onions, which will be here for another 3 to 4 months, I hope. So what we usually do is just start in an area, and like I said, if the soil's loose and soft, you can just push them in with your finger. They don't have to be too deep. If you go too deep, they have a hell of a time growing. You just take them about, it just depends, 3 to 4 inches sometimes. Just kind of have to imagine the size of the onion when it gets big. So like those ones right there will be pretty much the size we need. And then, as always, we usually do thin out a lot of them and use them for green onions during the season, and scallions and all that stuff. So
And you can always plant them real close together. Trouble with that sometimes is the weeds get in between them, and they're a little bit hard to cultivate, but it can be done. So as you can see, I've still got a pretty good bed here to get planted. We like to do it when it's cool so the darn onions don't start wilting. You can see up there's a few up here where I planted earlier and I got distracted a few times, and they're kind of wilted a little bit, but we'll water these here directly and they should be all right. So this should be one area should have onions hopefully up to the winter and past the winter. If we store them right, we can have them till February or even March of next year. So that's what we're doing here at Corrales Classic Farms. Sunday night. Should be in there watching TV. Good night.